Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our expert lecture. Today's guest lecturer is Sapphire Life Master Beth Tobias. Beth took up duplicate in 1974 and has been an active promoter. She is a co-founder of the Bridge Center of Austin, and she is currently our co-webmaster for Unit 207. If you have any questions for Beth, you can put them in the chat function. And I will also put in Beth's email if you want to reach out to her with questions or comments after the Zoom. Today's topic is hold-up plays and avoidance, something some of us don't even know what that means. So I'm excited to welcome Beth Tobias.
Hey, hello, everybody. I have this whole thing on PowerPoint, so I am going to share my screen and let me know if anything goes wrong. But let me see if I can get this shared. Okay, can you all see the screen?
I'm not seeing it.
No, not yet.
You're not. Oh, wait, I forgot to click share. There you go. Are you all good? Okay. So the topic is hold up and avoidance plays. I'm going to talk about this from the point of view of the offense only. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some definitions and some general guidance up front. And then the bulk of the talk is going to be going through example hands so that you can visualize some of the situations. Okay, I'm sorry. So start with what we're talking about in the first place. A hold-up play is simply not winning a trick that you can win for strategic reasons. An avoidance play is keeping your dangerous opponent off lead, and the dangerous opponent or dangerous hand is one that can hurt you, for example, by running a long suit, by leading through an unprotected king, by leading a card that his or her partner can ruff, and there are obviously other situations. The safe opponent or hand is just the other one, the one that can't hurt you. And as I said, the lecture covers offense only. It's also useful on defense, but that's for another day and another time. So why do it? Well, in some cases, especially in no trump, there's a long suit that is in danger of being run. So you want to drain, if possible. If possible, you want to drain one opponent of the danger suit, which is also called cutting communications. You might want to keep the dangerous opponent off lead, and that's an avoidance play, and we'll have some examples of that. You might want to save a convenient entry to your short, to be able to roughen your short hand. And another case, which is very common, is you want to encourage an opponent to make a lead that gives up a trick. And that's a very, very specific case, and it's also known as a bath foo, and we'll talk about that. And can somebody do some muting here? Okay, and lastly, you might want to rectify the count for a squeeze, and that's very advanced, and I'm not covering that in this lesson. Again, there, as with everything else, there are a whole bunch of other situations, but these are probably the most common. When not to do it, and quite frankly, the motivation for this talk is this: I see people holding up when they oughtn't. So we're going to go over a number of cases where you should not hold up. Basically, the two general situations are when it's futile and when it's dangerous. When it's futile or pointless, One case is you have enough tricks off the top and it risks the contract or it offers no gain. Another is you have no choice but to finesse into the danger hand. One more, if they have so many cards in the danger suit that holding up is just simply pointless. And the last one for futile is when you're sure the suit splits 4-4. I almost didn't put this one in because you're virtually never sure that the suit splits 4-4. If you're playing in a pair game and if they lead the deuce against no trump, it's probably fourth best and you might want to take that risk. But very, very often people will lead a small card from 3. So be careful of that. Yeah, thanks. Also, you don't do it when it's dangerous, when you can lose either your only stopper or your second stopper, or when they can switch to a more dangerous suit, or when you risk a ruff, and that obviously applies to a trump contract. Okay, are there any questions before I go into starting hands? All right. Before I actually start talking about the hands, a few random notes about the sample hands that I've used. When the contract is no trump, hearts are always the suit that you're concerned about the defense taking too many tricks in. Diamonds are always the suit that you have to attack to get the tricks you need for your contract. And I just did that so that you can focus on 2 suits rather than 4 suits. I do not show auctions. I want you focusing on the play. I don't want you to try and figure out how they got to this contract. Just assume that when the bidding took place, there is no useful information in the bidding. Nothing that would cause the opening leader, for example, to lead something unusual. And nothing from the defense that would indicate what they should do. I also don't show spot cards. And again, I want you to focus on the basic situation. I don't want you trying to figure out if somebody somehow managed to set up the 8 of a suit. And one final thing, when I want to show that the lead was from length, but the length is ambiguous, I lead the 5, figuring that the 5 is low enough that it's generally from length, but it's high enough that it could be from 4, or it could be from 5, or it could even be from 6. Okay? So let's start with the first hand, which is the basic holdup with an ace. This is probably something you do automatically. So it will, I promise it'll get more interesting later. But let me just go through a few notes about how you should think about these things. First, this is no trump contract. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you want to count your actual winners. The next thing you want to do is to figure out where you can get any additional tricks that you need. And then you need to plan the play in the safest way to get those tricks. So you want to identify any possible dangers and try to mitigate them. Okay, now to this actual hand. Okay, you're in 3 no trump. The 5 of hearts is led, so we're going to assume that's the long hand. East plays the queen, and you have only 1 stopper. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to check to see how many winners you have off the top. And you have 5 black cards, and you have 2 red aces. And so you need 2 more tricks. And I made it clear that the only possible way you're going to get tricks here is with a diamond finesse. The danger, obviously, is that you're going to lose the king of hearts and four or more the king of diamonds, sorry, and four or more hearts. So you want to, if possible, make sure that if West wins the king of diamonds, West no longer has any hearts. Or since there are 8 hearts out, if they split 4-4, he'll have a heart, but it won't hurt you. So the solution is to hold up till the 3rd round. If the lead was from length, either East is out of hearts or they were 4-4. And in either case, your contract is cold regardless of location of the king of diamonds. Now, suppose instead the card that you're actually missing is the ace of diamonds instead of the king. Should you still hold up? And the answer is yes. There's still a 50% chance at least that the ace of diamonds is in the East hand and East won't be able to hurt you. What you need to be careful mentally is not to panic when you realize that the ace of diamonds is out and you have to lose that trick, and start thrashing and cashing all your black cards, because what's going to happen is you're going to end up setting up a black card for whoever has the ace of diamonds, even if that was the hand that was safe in terms of hearts. Okay. Next, this is another basic holdup situation, and this is with the King Queen X. It depends, what you want to do depends on who can get on lead. But this is a situation where you're often not thinking about holding up. You're sort of on auto. When they play the jack, you're going to play the king or the queen. And that's probably not a good idea in case 1, where the finesse is into East, which is the safe hand. Okay, so let's look at case 1 first. Actually, for both cases, the hands are identical, by the way, except that the diamonds are switched so that the finesse goes the other way. You have 7 winners, 5 black cards, the ace of diamonds and the king of hearts, and diamond finesse is your chance for the rest of the tricks that you need. And you don't want to lose the long hearts and the king of diamonds. In case 1, you want to hold up on the first round. If you do, and they continue, then you have, assuming they duck, you have a 3rd round stopper. If the lead was from length, either East is going to be out of hearts after continuing a trick 2, or they were 4-3, because in this case I gave you 6 hearts, so there are only 7 outstanding. And in either case, your contract is cold, regardless of the location of the king of diamonds. But if you win the first round, what's going to happen is East is still going to have a heart. When you take the diamond finesse and lose it to East, a heart's going to come through your now bare King X, and you're going to go down. So you definitely want to consider holding up. Now, case 2, the finesse is into West. And the interesting thing about West is that he can't hurt you with a heart lead, because he can either lead the ace of hearts, setting up your second heart stopper, or he can lead away from his ace of hearts. Either way, you've got 2 stoppers in the suit. So there's really no point in holding up, since you'll finesse into West, who cannot hurt you in hearts. Okay? Questions? Okay. One thing to note is this situation applies also when you have an ace jack X and the king or queen is played, or you have the king jack X. Basically, you have what looks like 2 stoppers, but you have to be careful to make sure that they really are 2 stoppers. One thing that you might want to consider on defense is if you're holding something like the ace, queen, third of hearts and partner leads a small heart. If it looks like you have an entry, you might want to think about playing the queen because declarer is going to have to take the king. Okay, next. Hold up and avoidance. And this is a case where you want to keep the dangerous hand off lead. And this example, it's the same hand for both, except that the opening lead is very different. And it indicates in the first case that the opening leader, West, is the one who's likely long in the suit. And in the second case, it's East that's likely long. And what I did was I gave you a two-way finesse in diamonds. So again, you count your winners and you've got 7 of them, and diamonds are your source of tricks, and you don't want to lose too many hearts, and the queen of diamonds in addition. In both cases, you want to hold up until the third round, because then either the shorthand is out of hearts or they were 4-4. Okay. So in case 1, you want to finesse into East. You want to play the ace and then low to the jack. And the reason you want to play the ace first is just in case there's a singleton queen on your right, you'll catch that. And you have plenty of entries to come back to your hand if the queen is on your left, to finesse it multiple times. So you can handle any queen on your left, unless it's queen fifth. Queen fifth, you're in a bit of trouble. And I made the hand look like it was a really good idea to play the ace of diamonds first. In case 2, now you think that the long hand is on your right in East. And so you want to take a finesse the other way. In this case, you want to lead towards either the ace of spades or the king of clubs and take an immediate finesse. You do not want to cash the king of diamonds first. And the reason for that is you need to protect against queen fourth and East. You simply cannot let East in. And if you lose to the singleton queen in West, so be it. But you need to make sure that if the hand is, as I've shown here, with queen fourth, that you can pick up that without losing a trick to the bad people. Okay? Questions? Okay. Here's a case where you have 9 of the suit that you're going to try and attack. Okay. The usual stuff up front, you have 7 winners, you need diamond tricks, and you don't want to lose hearts and queen of diamonds. You want to hold up to the third round. That's, as we've discussed before, pretty standard. But then you want to finesse into East, which is a safe hand. And you might be tempted with a 9-card suit to play the ace and the king. The reason you don't is you really can't afford to lose the trick. And if the queen third is on side, you're going to make, if you play the ace and king and the queen third is on side, you are not going to make. And the odds are actually pretty close on this one between playing for the drop and playing for the 3-1 break. And basically the message is you want to play safe. Now, In this case, the odds are reasonably close. And in a pair game or a team game, you probably want to play safely unless you're playing a pair game and you're having a god awful game and you want to do something that's against the odds. There are cases where the choices are much more disparate in the odds that are available. In other words, one situation is much more likely than the other. And in that case, in a team game, you're going to want to take the safety play anyway. In a pair game, depending upon how you're doing and what the odds really look like, you might want to go ahead and play against play with the odds and not take the safety play. Okay. Here's a case where there's only one play that can work. Okay, again, you have 8 tricks in this case, and the only source for another trick is the diamond suit. You have the standard hold up until the 3rd round, but then you want to lead to dummy, and you want to play the king of diamonds. And off the top of your head, this looks like a guess, right? Where's the ace? If the ace is on your right, you want to play the king. If the ace is on your left, you want to play the jack and force out the ace. But the problem is, if the ace is on your left, you're going down. So the only play that works is to play the king. You can't let West in, so you have to play East for the ace of diamonds. If West has the ace of diamonds, there's always the next hand. Okay. Now we're in a suit contract. I do periodically throw in suit contracts just to keep you off balance here. And this is a case where you want to keep the dangerous hand off lead. Your contract is 4 hearts and the 3 of spades is led, and East plays the jack of spades. Now, this is a suit contract. So I'm going to quickly go through what you think in a suit contract before you start playing trick 1. And the first thing you do in a suit contract is you count your sure losers and your possible losers. And then you make a plan that can avoid as many of those possible losers as you can. So in this case, your sure losers are the ace of diamonds, ace spade, and if the king of clubs is offside, that's a sure loser as well. The danger that you have is that a diamond is going to come through your king to the ace queen or the ace jack or something on your right. And you cannot afford a second diamond loser because you already have 3 possible losers. So when they leave the ace of spades, East is going to play the jack. You do not want to win the ace. You want to hold up on the first trick. And there is now no way on this Lord's earth that West is going to get in to lead a diamond. I carefully gave you enough stoppers in the blacks. And you will also notice that I also carefully made the club finesse into the safe hand. So what would happen if you won the first trick and then lost the club finesse to East? A spade to West's king is going to potentially allow a fatal diamond switch. Questions? Okay, another suit contract with problem is that you need to get a ruff to get to avoid a second spade loser. So you have three sure losers, and in this case, they're really sure losers. You have to lose a spade, you have to lose the ace of hearts, and you're going to lose either the king or the queen of diamonds. If you want to avoid a second spade loser, you need to be able to ruff a spade in the shorthand, unless clubs are 3-3, which is somewhat against the odds. And there's a clear problem in that the north hand is absolutely horrendous. And the only entry for sure in the north hand is the ace of spades. So you want to hold up on the ace of spades on the first trick, and then there's no problem using the ace of spades as an entry to ruff a third spade. If you win the first trick, you have to lose a spade to set up the ruff, and you have no sure way of getting back to dummy to take that ruff. And I carefully built the entire hand so that there is, in fact, no earthly way you're ever going to get to dummy. Now, I made this almost an ad absurdum case with the hand being so horrible. Often, it's not as obvious, but it's just simpler and safer to duck the first trick so that you have the entry easily to take your ruff. Otherwise, you have to lose the trick, as we discussed, and maybe you can get back to dummy, but maybe that's the only other entry you have to dummy and there's something better you can do with it. So there are a number of cases where it's not as screamingly obvious that you don't have the entries to take the ruff, but you still want to make it easy on yourself and duck the trick. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the Bath coup, which is a hold up in hope of a continuation. And the definition is a defender has led the king, so presumably has the king queen, and either, and these are very specific, the declarer has the jack in his hand and the ace in dummy and no 10 in either hand, or declarer has the ace jack in hand, at least third, and no 10 in either hand. And I put in the slide that they're 3-3, but they really can be longer suits. That's not relevant. The purpose is to induce the leader to continue the suit so that you can get two tricks when only one is truly available. And that's why the caveat for no 10 in either hand is there, because if the 10 is there, two tricks are really available. Now, good defensive signaling often makes this pointless, but sometimes a clear signal is impossible. Heaven knows you've held hands where you desperately want to signal to partner to either continue or not continue a suit, and you just don't have the right card. So in those cases, the leader's on a guess about whether to continue or not. And as declarer, you should be aware of the carding that the defenders are using and false card appropriately to make it as difficult as possible for them to figure out if they should continue the suit or not. So in case one, you have a classic Bath coup. You have the ace jack, fourth of hearts opposite 3 small. And the king of hearts is led. You're playing 3 no trump. The winners off the top for both hands. You have 8 winners and you need one more trick. If they continue hearts, you've got your other trick. The only other chance you have is the 4th diamond. And they can't really hurt you in any way by switching to something else. So you might as well hold up and just hope that they continue hearts. If they do, you've got your 9th trick. If not, you have to hope for the fourth diamond. Case 2 looks like a Bath coup, but they're backwards. The ace and the jack are in the wrong hands for it to be a Bath coup. And I have seen people hold up with this any number of times. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't show that. The problem here is that you always have 2 tricks in hearts after the king is led, assuming it's from the king queen. You win your ace, you lead low to the jack, that's your 9th trick. If you hold up and they don't continue the suit, and East eventually gets in and leads another heart, you have just turned your 2 heart tricks magically, presto changeo, into 1 heart trick. Okay, so you do not want to hold up here. The rest of the hands are also now hands where you do not want to hold up. So the first case is one of the futile cases. You have enough tricks and there's a danger in holding up. So in this case, you're in 3-note trump, the king of hearts is led, and you have a classic Bath coup arrangement, and that's accurate, okay? But you have 9 tricks off the top. You've got 5 diamonds, 3 clubs, and the ace of hearts. And if they find a switch to a spade at trick 2 through your king deuce deuce, you're going to go down in a suit that in a hand that you absolutely were going to make. So it is a Bath coup situation, and you will get an over trick if hearts are continued, but it's much too dangerous to take that chance. And as you can see, I made it very clear that he's going to switch to the spade. Futile case number 2. Your only choice is to finesse into the danger hand. You're in 3-note trump, the long suit is on your left. We have 6 top winners, and the diamond finesse is the only way you're going to get another trick. And there's nothing you can do about it. So you might as well just win the first heart and take the diamond finesse. If the hearts are 4-4, you're going to make anyway. If they are in 4-4, you're down. It's life. You're down. Okay, futile case, the last. At least I think that's the last one. You have so few cards in the suit that they're leading that holding up makes no sense at all. There is no way that you're going to drain any hand out of the heart suit. And in this case, I gave you all of 3 hearts. You have 7 winners off the top. You've got the 5 club tricks and the 2 red aces. You have to take the diamond finesse. Just take the diamond finesse. If it wins, you make. If it doesn't, you sure do wish you'd found the 5 club contract on this hand. And you're going down a pile, as it turns out, if the diamond is off. Okay. When not to hold up, and we're now into cases where it's dangerous. And this is a case where you can lose your only stopper. If you notice, this is exactly the same hand as the very, very, very first hand, except that instead of holding the ace of hearts, you hold the king of hearts. Now, when they play the queen, the only source for your tricks is the diamond finesse. But if you hold up, a heart's going to come back through your king. So you might as well win the trick and play for the diamond finesse. If it wins, you make your contract. If it doesn't, you don't. It's your only chance. And as I sort of pointed out earlier on defense, this is a case where you certainly want to look at if you're holding ace queen third in the east hand and partner leads a small heart. You might want to play the queen so that the king is effectively forced. And they will go down in a contract they would make if you played the ace, because once you play the ace, you're back in the situation where declarer has a sure trick, a sure stopper, and can safely hold up. Okay. This one is a much more difficult hand because it requires a little bit of higher level reasoning on what's really going on here. This is a case where you have a second stopper, but only if you don't hold up. So the contract is 3-no trump and the 5 of hearts is led. You have 6 winners. You have to attack diamonds and you don't want to lose too many hearts. What you need to protect against is a 5-2 split. A 4-3 split poses no problem. Now, the thing you need to realize is this person led the 5 of hearts. The odds that this person has led the 5 of hearts from the king, queen, jack are somewhere between none and are you kidding? So if they split 5-2, or however they split, you know that East is going to have a heart on her. And so you have to assume at trick 1, before you play to trick 1, you have to work this out. East, the danger holdings for East are king, queen, or jack doubleton. If you duck, and I'm going to show you the whole hand, make it a little easier. If you duck, the queen will win, and another heart will come back, and it's going to get ducked around to the ace. And now when West has, basically, if he plays the queen and you duck, you're going to lose all of your heart tricks because they're going to come through. The 10-9 don't do you any good. But the 10-9 are really very, very critical cards. If you win the ace at trick 1, what's going to happen is East has 2 choices. He can play small, and then when he gets in and leads the queen, the suit's going to be blocked, or West is going to overtake, but in any case, your 10 or your 9 is going to take a trick. Or he can unblock. And in that case, either your 10 or your 9 is going to take a trick. So this is a case where you have to really think about what the holdings are, but you always will have 2 stoppers, but only if you don't hold up. And this is the penultimate hand. You're in 3-no trump, and East plays the queen of hearts on the lead of a small heart. And you're wide open in spades. You have 7 winners, and you have a diamond finesse available to take more tricks. The danger is not only that you're going to lose hearts, but if you duck the first trick, they might find the spade switch. And if they find the spade switch, it's not good. Okay? So you don't hold up. It looks like you might want to hold up since the diamond finesse is into the safe hand, but there's a real good chance you're going to lose when they find the spade switch. So this is another case where you need to hope that the finesse is working. If it is, you make. If it isn't, you don't make. And my last example hand is a case where you risk a ruff if you hold up. And this is your first non-game contract. Congratulations, you've managed to bid only to 2 spades, which is about all you can make on this darn thing. You have 5 sure losers. You have a spade loser, you have a couple of heart losers, and a diamond and a club loser. Eventual winners you have are 3 spades, a heart, a diamond, and 3 clubs. But you don't want to hold up. This is another Bath coup looking situation. If West does continue a heart, you will make an over trick, but you've got an awful lot of clubs. And if they don't continue hearts and they switch to a club, you're going to end up losing a club ruff when the defense wins the ace of spades, and you're going to go down in a cold, cold, cold contract. Okay. So that is actually the end of this. Does anybody have any questions? If not, I want you to indulge me. You may get a little sick to your stomach, and I'm partly motivated by the fact that you have no tomatoes that you can throw at me through the screen. So with apologies to Kenny Rogers, okay? You gotta know when to hold up, know when to win it, know when to take a trick, know when to duck. You better count your winners when dummy hits the table. If you wait till later, you'll be out of luck. And that is me completely losing control, and I apologize.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's it.
Thank you, Beth. Did you do me? Yeah.